Good morning, viewers. My name is Nnamdi Uti, a member of the Riverdale team. I'm here to I'm the anchor person for the day. To make this event possible, we had the support of the management team of Riverdale Professional Services. They are of the opinion that constant repeated training will help enhance the performance of the overall performance of our citizens in Nigeria. So that is why they've made this platform available and to every one of us. So we have the partners of Riverdale to include Mr. Toyin Ayeni, the managing partner, Mr. Suru Omonigho, another partner, and then we have Prince Akiru as one of the partners. They are all FCS, they are all members of ICANN profession. Now we have another party known as the Big Platform, which help in the publicity and other uh, support service, we would like to say thank you to them as well. So in today's session, we want to look at where we stopped the from the previous session. So we are still on Excel, Microsoft Excel. Trying to get my working file. Just 1 second. Oh, sorry, please. Would you be so we have this. So today's session is known as Microsoft Excel for beginners and intermediate users, and we have these are the topics: conditional formatting, naming of range, data validation, if function, VLOOKUP, and HLOOKUP, and pivot table. Now we're going to start from VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, then move to data validation, naming of range, if function, then conditional formatting, and then we end at pivot table. After which, the next session, as series 4, we'll start off with chart of account, chart designs, and options and tools. So sorry for this slow pace, but then it's better we get it right. So this is our spreadsheet. The first item we need to talk about is VLOOKUP. And the VLOOKUP function is used when you want to pick up a particular information from a group of records. So remember that in the first series, we explained to you that a row represents a record. So this is a record, that's a record, that's a record. When these records come together, this is a group of records. So this group of records form this file known as uh, intermediates. We call them performance sales performance report. So this sales performance report is made up of records. Now this record, if you want to pick, if I ask you now to tell me the performance of Nnamdi, so you know that Nnamdi is on row number 13, serial number 6. His first name is Nnamdi and his surname is Okoji. If I ask you what is his bonus, you say 300 naira, and he sold a total of 30,000 naira. You also know that he's below, he did not have additional bonus, and he failed in the ranking. If we ask you out of Olusegun, you know Olusegun is on row number 14, serial number 7. Olusegun is his first name, and Kehinde is his surname. He has a bank account at GT Bank, and this is his account number, and his this is the account number, and this is his bonus, and he sold a total of 40,000 naira. That is an additional bonus of 10,000 naira, and he performed excellent well. Likewise, others. So, to use VLOOKUP, you must identify your pivotal row. This is our pivotal row for today. Anything on the left-hand side of the pivotal row is not usually considered within the VLOOKUP rules. So what that means is if you move this pivotal row to the middle here, let me cut it and put it there. Sorry, cut. Cut. But if you move it down here, let me take it this way. Now, if you put it this way, your VLOOKUP formulas will not capture information on this other region, which is column A to column I will be ignored, but column J to M will be considered in your formula. So VLOOKUP picks the information from the pivotal column to the right. So I'll move the pivotal column back to where it was, so that every information from the first name to the rank will be considered when we start to use it. So this pivotal column must contain unique identifiers. So information. So if you look at this now, you have serial number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we had too many serial number 1, then VLOOKUP will only pick up will only identify with the first serial number 1. So for example, if we had used the first name as the pivotal, that's this column here, as the pivotal column, you see on this column you have Nnamdi twice. So VLOOKUP will ignore this one and only notice this first one, such that if you query this, if you produce a query asking for the performance of Nnamdi, it will return 300 naira as bonus. It will also say Nnamdi sold 30,000 total of sales. It will not recognize the second one, which made 200 naira bonus and 20,000 naira sales. So that is those are the weaknesses, one of the weakness of VLOOKUP function, and which we would like you to take note of. So moving forward, we'll be talking about how to use to respond to queries using VLOOKUP, and these queries will be answered using this box here. So the name, the account number, bonus, and sales. So we will like to leave it at this point, and we'll see you when we come back. So note that when they ask you query, when they query a query, it means that you're providing a report, and the report is what will respond to any query. So for example, if this is account number, bonus, and sales, you can even open this up to have other uh, hi, to bring other information. You don't need this. You don't need this. You need serial number. So when we get the serial number, so from this serial number, you can always get a response to a query. So when you put a serial number here and query to get results like this, call it first name, bonus, and sales. So what it means is that if they ask you, your managing director asks you, start with serial number 1, that is Mosmora. Okay, you copy this. The crude way is to copy this and paste special. Then, what's Mosmara's bonus? Bonus is 200 naira. So you can type 200 naira there, and the sales value is 20,000 naira. Then they will ask again, staff number 5, which is Ayeni. Special paste. You can type it fast. You can go ahead and type it fast. And you cannot type faster than before the copy and paste special. Paste special value. He has a bonus of 200 and he made a sales of 200. So you can 20,000. So you can type that manually. But when you use VLOOKUP, instead of all these long things, all these easy, good way of typing, all you need to do is to change the serial number. Once you change the serial number, this will change, that will change, that will change automatically. So what we mean is, if I say serial number 1, I say, okay, let's say 2. I say VLOOKUP this inside the range, this range. Look closely, you see that Excel is already suggesting to you what to do next. What do you want to return here? First name, which is on column 2, else false. You say enter. So what that means is, if you look at this, serial number 2, first name is Okikiola. Then the bonus, you need to do the same VLOOKUP. Okay, open this in the same range. Return what you have on column 10, else false. So content, how do I know that's content? Because I counted column 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 is bonus. So 11 is sales. Column 11, which is other K. K is sales. So I'll then say equals to VLOOKUP this in the same range return 11. What is on column 11? Else false. What that means is if you put a serial number that is not there, it will return a result that will show an error. So let's look at it. This is 39. So serial number 39 is the highest here. So let's put in serial number 40. I see not applicable, not applicable, not applicable. That is what you see when you do not get it, when you not work within the range. So that is how to use VLOOKUP. There are many variants, but what you use it for to query, to come in and say what you go in here, search this serial number and return the remaining value. So you put in here 39, go there, pick 39 and return the value. So thank you. So see you at the thank you. So let's pause for now. Sorry for that break. Now, this so the rows and columns. For example, you see this word first name, Mosumola, Okikiola, Oyebola, and rest. They are all unique. Now, but there's a problem here in this record, this group of records. We have Nnamdi twice. See, Nnamdi here and Nnamdi there. So when you have Nnamdi twice on the pivotal column, VLOOKUP will only report the results of this first one. So what that means is that it will not recognize two Nnamdi, and it does not have the memory, the understanding that it can select which Nnamdi you need out of the two. So you see, one of the Nnamdi is in northwest, and the second one is north central. So it would be nice to find a unique identifier that separates one of the Nnamdi from another. Now, the way around it is what you see in the bank, where the banks have to introduce the BVN system and the Nubank account number. The Nubank account number helps to differentiate the customer from another. Also, national identity card number also helps to differentiate one Nigerian from another. The international passport number helps to differentiate one Nigerian citizen from another. Our driver's license helps to differentiate one Nigerian driver from another. All these numbers are unique. You cannot have two Nigerians having the same BVN number. You cannot have two Nigerians having the same Nubank account number. Now, in a company, you come down to a company level. A company level, you don't have two staff they're having the same staff ID number. Sometimes some companies they divide their staff numbers based on departments. So those in finance department will have unique numbers starting from words like FIN, FIN 001, FIN 002, while those in admin will start with ADM 001, ADM 002. You understand? So those are unique identifiers that differentiate one staff or one individual from another. And that's what you bring to the record when you are putting your record. You always try to have unique identifier. So if you ask me, the best unique identifier here should have been the serial number here. If we use the serial number as our unique identifier, and then we come here and say, okay, serial number, then we tie everything to the serial number. So we can say, for instance, that this is number 1, okay, and this one will then be VLOOKUP this serial number in this range. You can even start from this first one or from there, this range down. Now say what? Return 1. What is on column 1? Because we are now using serial number as a pivotal column. So serial number column is column number 1. Else false. So now what that means is, okay, sorry, we want to return the value on the second row, the second column, which is the first name. This first name there. Second. So you see, the first, if you're counting from this point, this is column 1, column 2, column 3, because we have now decided to use this as the pivotal column instead of that. Okay, so when we are highlighting the range, we start from this point downward. However, since this is dependent on this, the result of that, it will still be right, subject to, if you pick the, now once you get to Nnamdi, it will always be wrong. So you need to correct these other ones the same way. So VLOOKUP this in that same range. Return what? This is the range. Return what you have on, because we're looking at bonus. So return what you have on column sorry please. So basically what we're trying to do is to put the necessary, want to complete these fields again. So let's get it right. Say VLOOKUP. This is what you have in serial number in this range. If you look closely, Excel have been trying to suggest what action we should do next. So we will use this to interpret it. So bonus, what column is bonus? If you start from the serial number column to count, column A is 1, B 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10. Column 10 is bonus. After that, you say false. So like I said, this false can be replaced with 0 because you want it to be exact. Okay, so it's correct. Now, if you need to do the same for the sales. VLOOKUP bracket open is in the same range you return what is on 11, else false. So this is it. So anytime you change what you have on this serial number here, you change it to 2, it will change automatically. If you change it to 5, so this could be the member's serial number. So when do you use this? You use this when you have a repeated query from somebody. Let's say your managing director always come to ask you what is the performance of each staff, and immediately ask you that same question. You can then quickly pick staff ID number, punch it in there, and the result will be out immediately. You tell them, you say, okay, Nnamdi is number 6, serial number, staff ID number 6. His name is Nnamdi. His bonus is 300 naira, and his sales, overall sales is 30,000 naira. Okay, what about staff with ID number 12? Telling the same thing. So that could be done easily. Now, this could be used for your pay slips. Where you have pay slip, where you have the pay slip will have come with the usual description of the company, the name of the company, followed by the purpose of the pay slip, which is the pay slip. The purpose of the reporting is pay slip. Now the dates, the period covered, and things like that. So you can go on a separate sheet and design this kind of report. So if we want to do that now, quickly, let's see if we can do something now. Sorry, let's see if we can add. Yeah. So quickly we say the name. So I quickly enter there and pick the name from the master file. This is the name. Yeah. Say pay slip, performance slip. Let's call it performance slip. The performance slip. What do we want to see? We want to see the name. We want to see serial number. We want to see the name, first name. First name. We want to see uh, bonus. We want to see sales value. Simple. These are the information we want to see, and we would like to enlarge it. Okay, so that everybody can see the output instantly as it's coming out. So, this is not formatted, but we made it this way so it'll be nice and simple. So I put number 1 here as serial number 1, the first step. So let's say equals to VLOOKUP this in the range. Go back to the range. Return what you have on the second column, which is first name, else false. So can you see first name there is serial number 1, first name is more smaller. I can also put the second line as the other name, but let's make it nice and simple. It does that. So VLOOKUP again, bracket open, this in that same range. Column 9, false. Because we've done it before, so I know that. Let me see. Look, there's a K missing here. Up, okay. This account number. Let's see. Column 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it should be 10. Bonus should be 10. Okay, so the next one is value, sales value. VLOOKUP this in the same range. I think 11. Hello. Hello. So this is the result of what we get. We get this name, the first name, and that and the sales value. So you can then do it, improve on the slip by bringing the format option, using the format tools to make it more beautiful. The other things like the period, this could be January 2021. Okay. So now, if looking at this, whenever you are asked similar question, what's the for staff with serial number 10, what is his performance? Just change that. See, everything changes. Staff with serial number 15. See, so the control cell is this. Once you change it, every other thing changes. And this can be sent to the staff by email. You format, you print this as PDF and send to the staff. You can even make it nicer by putting in the company logo somewhere there. The company logo, whichever you think is better to manage your presentation. So you can do whatever you feel is right, as long as your presentation is nice and clean. So I prefer to do some command separator here. To have command separator, try to have this there. Okay. So that is for that. Now remember to use VLOOKUP. Just a recap. You must identify what your pivot column is, and the pivot column must be the left, extreme left, while the other information you are looking for should be on the right side of that pivotal column. If you have any information after the pivotal column on the left hand side, your VLOOKUP will not pick those information. So most times, always, it is better to have it the pivotal column on the left hand side. So this is our pivotal column. In layman's time, if I move this column to this point here, you will not be able to search for any information on this side. You can only search for information on the left, right hand side of after the pivotal column, starting from the pivotal column. Now, there's another thing you need to look out for when you're using uh, VLOOKUP. You see this number 1, 2, 3, the way it's written there, as the pivotal column on the pivotal column. If you have any space in front, let's say you do it this way, and then you come here and say 1. Let's see. Oh, it will not recognize. If you put, like when we were using this, when we were using the names at the pivotal column, if you put any space in front, you cannot do that now. You put any space in front, this formula will not recognize it. So you need to make sure that what you have here is exactly what you have there, including the number of steps after the characters. If you have anything after the characters, make sure you put that same space here. Otherwise, the results will be wrong. So, and it's always better to have them in this way. So you can use this to query your payroll. So prepare your payroll, query your payroll, get your pay slip, get another other sub reports like your PAYE tax returns and things like that. The summary of sheets to bank. So now the next item we want to look at is because we want to look at HLOOKUP. Remember I told you that HLOOKUP is is equal to horizontal lookup. So what I've just done is copy this this sheet here. I want to come over here and paste it, paste special. I come here, paste special. Value transpose. Look at this transpose option. Now what I've just done is to move all those items on the vertical side to the horizontal part of the Excel sheet. So now you have this column now for this row for name, first name, The next row is for surname. Can you see? So you have the email address here. And make use of this. You have the regions there. You have the bonus and sales. So everything that you saw on the vertical initially, they are now on the horizontal, arranged horizontally. So basically, what's that? If this is how they presented the information to you, and you have to query this, you query using the VLOOKUP instead of VLOOKUP. So when doing the VLOOKUP function, everything is just similar to VLOOKUP. So what we do now is we put forward that same report, brief report sheet. Let's pick it. Let's pick it from this one. Let's pick this, and then let's see if we can put it on this. Here, okay. I want to speed up our process. So we expected to put the name of the company here. I'm just putting everything on the sheet so that it will be easy for us to look at the same time. So we need to have the serial number. We need to have first name, bonus, and value. So first name will then be equals to VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP, bracket open. What are we looking out for? We're looking at for the serial number. You see this serial number, this is the serial number. So we take our range from the serial number down to ensure that all serial numbers are captured together with the component. Serial number, what are we looking for? First name. So if the serial number is the first row, the first name is the second row, so we want it to return what we have in row 2. Remember last time? No, so serial number, what you have in, sorry please, sorry, let me tell you, escape. I'm going to clean that up, so start with VLOOKUP, bracket, it doesn't matter if it's capital letter or small letter, okay? The value you have here, in what? In this range. In this range. And then you return what? What you have in the second row. Second row, which is first name, else false. So you see? So let's count it. This is let's look at 15. Okay, look at 15. You can see 15, you have happiness, and that is happiness. So let's go again. Say equals to okay. In this, return 1, 2. Okay, correct. So now this is 15. So we have 2 as the first name. When we go further, we say 2. This is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The row for bonus is 10. So we then go back again and say VLOOKUP this in what? In the range. 10, row 10, else false. So you see that's the bonus. H lookup, this in the same range. Let's say 10, 11, false. So you see the results will be the same. So you can format this and then send to your management. You can put it on a separate sheet by cutting and pasting. I just cut, Control X, cut, paste, and format it the way you want. Anytime you change this, the results will always come out. Can you see? Now, if you go back and check this 17, we have serial number 17, we have Ifeoluwa. Sorry, Ifeoluwa 17. So this is H lookup and this is V lookup. Then there's one more thing I need to explain to you. When in combination of when you're using the H lookup or V lookup of function, there are ways to even reduce your stretch. You know, each time you use these functions, you try to improve in a way that you become more efficient. So remember, I used to use the option of range, and instead of using the range, you can rename the range. So let's go back to our table of contents so you know what I'm talking about. What I'm saying here is that naming of the range. So we have discussed this VLOOKUP. We have also discussed HLOOKUP. We need to discuss naming of range. After naming of range, then we'll talk about data validation if function. Okay, so let's go back. Let's dive in again. Now, you remember that when we were forming up the formula, we were coming up with the formula. Let's go to the first sheet, this one. We normally pick the range. Now, instead of picking the range, what we can do is to highlight this range and give it a name. And for you to do that, it means it's similar to saying, my name is Nnamdi. My name used to be Nnamdi Uti. Or moving forward, I want to be called George Uti. That is how a man can change a name. A woman in Nigerian culture change her surname whenever they are getting married. So likewise this, we can as well come here and change this range. This range is known as the normal name of this range is known as A8. A8, range A8 to range M46. This is M46. And what that means is if I come in here and I type in equals to A8 to A46, what I'm doing is I'm capturing this range, the entire spreadsheet range. But the shortcut is to forget about this formula and just simply name that area. And the powerful Excel tool that helps us to do this is under formula, under ribbon known as formula. So what we do, first step is to highlight the region you want to rename. So I want to rename this entire region. I want to call it a name known as known as under formula define. There's what a term, an option known as define. So define name. So I'm going to come here and call it any name I want. So I don't want to call it serial number. I want to call it JK. So you may choose to say pay performance. Okay. Now look at the range. This is the range. You can decide to choose it. You can also say you can decide to change it. You can also say you want this name to apply to the entire, to only this sheet, only this particular sheet, or the entire workbook. I prefer the entire workbook so that when I'm using the name on another sheet here, it will respect my choice. So I then say okay. So moving forward, this region is called JK. So for you to see that pay P. So if I come to pay P, this area will be highlighted. Look at this name box. Name box. If you pick pay P here, you are highlighting the same area. So in those formulas, instead of picking the range, I can simply say pay P. So let's try it. Let's say 1 is equals to VLOOKUP bracket open this in pay P return what 2 else false. Can you see the result is same as most smaller? Now go to this. Which column is that? Column 10. Okay, so VLOOKUP this in pay P return what you have in column 10 else false. You also go to this and say VLOOKUP this in pay P return 11. What do you have in column 11 else false. VLOOKUP what do you have in pay P, the spelling of false is wrong. That's why. Okay, now so it's correct now. You can see that it's flowing properly. That's how to rename a sheet and use it. So when you start using, what you're saying actually is that this region is now known as PayP. You're telling VLOOKUP to come into PayP and pick an item. You should look up an item. The first is the pivotal row, pivotal column, which is this. The pivotal column, and return a value. So that's how we return all these values. So that is how to rename. So you can decide to name this region and name part of it and that thing. You can call this BB, you can call it BS, you can call it region, you can call it anything you want. You can pick just an aspect of the entire sheet and just name it whatever you want. So naming is one powerful tool that is used to reduce your formula, compress your formula in Excel. The next item I would like us to look at is, let me save this file. The next item I want us to look at is the data validation technique tool. Now, data validation tool in Excel is used to enhance the accuracy, the level of accuracy. So if let me see. I want to save this file so that I can pick it whenever I need it. Now, look at this. If we continue to put this information manually, we might experience an error along the line. So, for instance, a situation where someone wants to key in 10 and it then keys in 100. You see, it will show error because there's no 100 serial number, nothing on serial number 100, no serial number 100 in this range. But where you were supposed to key in 10 and you in 1 and you key in 10, it will return a value, and this value may not be correct because you actually wanted to key in 1, but you made a mistake and added 0. Okay, so but data validation technique helps to provide you with restrictions. So kind of restrictions that will ensure that your report comes in accurate. So let me give you an example. Your payroll department, they want you to always key in the right overtime to the right staff. So it's always better for you to use by data validation technique to pick the staff that you want to credit. So we'll use that here to demonstrate what we're talking about. So now data validation tool is under data. Data. So if you come down here, you see data validation. If you click the data validation, you'll find different windows which we need to explain. Have settings, inputs, error. Then validation criteria. Under validation criteria, you have value, any value. This is one option. If you open this, you see whole number. What you want to pick whole number. You want the result in that cell to be called to be a whole number. You want it to be this decimal. You want to have a list. You want to have dates, time, text, and custom. What this means is that if you pick any of these criteria and apply it to a particular cell, the cell will obey only what you have there. So if you put any information that is not there, for example, if you pick a validation technique that says this should be a number between so range, look at let me go there, whole number, decimal, custom. Okay, custom. Okay, look at the between type. Sorry, whole number. Okay, between this or not between, equal to. See, all these options are there. If you explore them, you try and explore them later. Now, all these options will tell you, they'll tell you, how do you call it now? It will restrict the data entry person to whatever criteria you want them to do. So we are going to pick lists. List. So this list option will then define what we mean. So equals to, I pick this equals to, and I say this is the list. Once I key in that and I say okay, remember I put an equal to here for it to work. So let's go back to where we put it. Now, look closely by the side here, you'll see that there's now a drop down. This drop down will show you options that you must pick from. You can't pick outside these options. If you attempt to put any information that is outside these options, then an error message will come. So if you pick this and copy and paste here. So imagine if you have staff ID number, somebody comes to you and says, okay, I want staff ID number 50. See, you try to put 50. Look at the value doesn't match the data validation instruction defined. So you must pick something that is within. So you can pick 13, you can pick 15 and 16, you can pick 22. They are all on the list. And all these other reports will be coming out nice and clean. So data validation technique is very, very, very sweet. It reduces error rate to near zero if you use it correctly. So it helps in data entry. So a supervisor, for instance, can format a cell, a Excel file, and put the various data validation tools there so that the the ultimate report will be accurate. So let's go back to our tracking sheet. So we talked about name range. Talk about data validation. So let's look at if function, then conditional formatting. So let's go back. Going into our spreadsheet. This is our spreadsheet. Now, how do we apply if function? See, most of us in secondary school, primary school days, we were graded according to our performance in school. And sometimes our teachers tell us that you scored a C, an A, or whatever based on your scores. Now, for that to apply in Excel, you can imagine where you have 500,000 students to score, and you want to do this quickly. In those days, people will go into take overtime, apply for overtime, and sit in their office all over the weekend, and it take them days to do the process. But now, with the powerful tool of Excel, that will take less than 2 minutes. So now let's use this as an example. So let's start with the if function. Now remember that uh, we are at the beginners and intermediate level. So we are going to just introduce it. There are other levels of if function which we will not be touching now because you need to understand AA before you go to BB. Okay. If you start from A and you want to jump to Z, you may get confused. We are factoring the fact that some of our attendees are green, they're still new. So we are going to introduce it gently, gradually. Okay. So now additional bonus. This company wants to give additional bonus to that everybody that sold 40,000 and above equal to 40,000 or above 40,000. 40,000 and above. Okay. So we then use if. So when you key the equals to function, there's this function icon that you have here. Once you double click that, a dialog box will open. This dialog box is trying to show you different formulas. Now, if is one of them. You have sum, you have average, and this what you are seeing here is just the most recently used. This most recently used. So apart from the most recently used, you have many more. Okay. So this if, you pick that if and say okay. Another dialog box will come up. This is where you do the logic test. So what are you saying? You're saying that if K8 is equal to or greater than 40,000. Okay. What do? If it's true, you give them 5,000. If it's false, 0. Sorry, please. All right. See, if K8, that's this one, is greater than or equal to 40,000. 40,000. If that's true, you give them 5,000. If not, if it's true, the additional bonus is 5,000. If it's false, it's 0. So let's look at it. So this first one had 0. You copy this formula and paste down there to the last. So this one had additional bonus, additional bonus, additional bonus, additional bonus. So while these other ones did not meet up to the 30,000, to the 40,000. So everything below 40,000 had zero. Uh, this. So now let's talk about ranking. Let's rank between excellent and low. So we say ranking, like credits and pass. So we say equals to if function again. If this is greater than or equal to 40,000, what do we do? We call it credit. We call it excellent. Note the double inverted comma. If not, the answer should be fail or something like that. Okay. So we have just two options now. And remember the double inverted comma. When you are using figure words instead of figures, use double inverted comma to make it acceptable. So this one failed to meet target. So copy the same formula down there. Can you see? So excellent, 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 excellent. Yeah. So that is how to use the if function. Very simple intro. That'll make us understand it well. Now, so I'll go back to my tracking sheet to cross it off. If function. If you have any question, please send us a mail. We will gladly attend to it. So we have conditional formatting and pivot table. Chart design options and tools will come in subsequent session. Let me see. So now we have this. We want to talk about conditional formatting. When do we use it? See, conditional formatting is used when you want to present your report to in line with the desires of the management. It could be your way of saying, let us interpret this report in a nice and easy way. So, and the tool is on the home. The tool for that is you go to the home tab, look at the conditional formatting there. So, first step is to highlight the region. So remember that we use this if and that to also look at ranking. As you can also use conditional formatting for ranking in that way. So highlight cells, these are the rules. Highlight cells rules. Greater than, less than, between, equal to. So for example, if we want to use this equal to option, you have that one, top rule, top bottom rule, database, color scale. You can use color scale to differentiate, and you can also clear the rules. You can write a new rule. So let's look at the equal to option. Equal to, I'll pick 40,000. See, this is all the ones highlighted in this purple or pink color is known as 40,000. Now, if you want to, you go back there, you can remove the rule and clear rule. Clear from selection. I want to clear from entire worksheet. Okay. Now let's do it again. Highlight this one. Conditional formatting. Equal to, let's say 50,000. Can you see it highlights the 50,000, what the 50,000 payment is, will be highlighted. You can also come there and remove this and say clear row. Then use another one which is color scale. Can you see? I will bring more colors. Data bars. It's already, you are seeing the effect already here. Control Z. Conditional formatting again. You can use bottom up to top 10 items. So top 10 items. Top 10 items have been highlighted. So that's the conditional formatting. There are many. So this, you can go further and explore more. But icon, you can also use this icon. So you see, depends on what you want to achieve. It can be very beautiful. So I leave you with that. Then go back again. Look at our working sheet. It's a guide. Conditional formatting. Then we look at pivot table. Pivot table is one very, very, very powerful tool. Used to make life very easy. In fact, if you want to work smart, you should make pivot table your friend. So we are going to look at how to make pivot table become our friend. So we go back to that same spreadsheet, and then we want to use pivot table. So what you need to do, pivot table is under insert on your ribbon. So you put the cursor here and make sure that all the columns have their headings or headers. So it's pivot table. You can pick the range. Say before you select it, select a table or a range. That's what we've just done. Okay. Then use external data source. No, news sheet. Where do you want the result to appear? Do you want it to appear on the new sheet or on the existing one? If you click on this existing one, it will appear on this same sheet. But I want to have it a separate sheet. So I'll then say new worksheet, and then I'll say okay. Now, so this dialog box comes up. This one here comes up to ask you some important questions. So, for instance, I will pick this first name. I will then pick bonus. I'll then pick sales. If you look closely, this report can already tell you at the base here that total sales is 1,350,000. The bonus is 13,500. You can highlight. Bring your command separator and get it nice and simple. So you can go ahead and put your, Riverdale professional services, performance report as of January 2021. Okay. Now there's one common problem that occurs when you are using pivot table. Let me do it. You see, these values came out nice and clean, but sometimes they may not come out like this. So you need to come here, right click, and look for summarize by sum. It's currently sum because we are summing up. But if I change it to count, you see it comes to count it counts the names. It counts the bonus. So if you do the same here, you count it. So, but that's not what we want to achieve. We want to sum. So, but sometimes when you present it, it will count. For you to see more about this, any of the items you want to see details, just double click. You see, this is the detail. Anyone you want to see more detail, you double click. So this is how it's been for pivot table. So you see, before you use pivot table, you must make sure that the base is off. Pivot table will not sum up the base for you. What I mean the base is this lower part, all this total, you don't need to apply. So our range excluded this total for it to look good, nice and good. So that's it for this session. Like I said, this is a pivot table. That's what we just discussed briefly now. Chart design options and tools will be discussed in series 4. It will form part of series 4 introduction. So we hope to see you there. But for now, this is our series 3, and we hope you enjoyed it. And let me I'd like to thank you for your attention. I also like to thank the management of Riverdale Professional Services for giving us the opportunity to showcase this to our teaming viewers. We'd like to thank most especially the managing partner, Mr. Toyin Ayeni, and all other partners like Mr. Suru, Omonigho, and Prince Akulu for providing the platform for us to project this to the people. I will not forget our crew, back-end crew. We have Faye, we have Fumi, we have Mary, Michael, White, Wasil, so many others who I cannot fully list out. They have been of immense help, assistance to this presentation. So thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you in the next session. Remember to send us feedback through our questionnaire. It will be very helpful, especially in designing the content of series number 4. For those who want to have this special training in their office premises, you can send us an email at trainings@Riverdale Professional Services. No, professionals, sorry, trainings, there's an S at the end, at riverdaleprofessionals.com. Trainings@riverdaleprofessionals.com. You see that on the flyer. On a flyer too. Look at the flyer down there, you see it. So please send it in. You can also follow us on our social media handles like the LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. When you follow us and like comments, you see that when next you want to release a video, you will receive a pop-up icon at your end. You try endeavor to send you a mail, but in case if you don't receive that mail, please go to our social media handles. You get them. I would like to thank you for your time, and God bless you. See you at the next session. Also, thank you to Page Platform moderators for their support. Regards.